Hello, Active Sage here on the Sage channel. It is Sleep, Art, Game, and Eat, and today we're going to be going ahead and having some fun with this ship, and by fun I mean destroying it. Now this is my Malice destroyer. If you have not seen it, a proper tour of it is available on the top left of your screen. There should be an annotation there linking you back to the original video showing it off. I have done a few changes with it since then though. I have gone ahead and painted the insides of these turrets here on the sides. You can see some basic blue at the backing there. And I went into the landing areas here, the small basic hangar areas, and I stuck some basic gravity, that way you can land, and a few lights just to make it feel more like it's actually a hangar and not so much just an opening. As for the actual ship's movement abilities, sorry for the cut there, had a random cough out of nowhere, but as for the ship's actual movement abilities, that's mostly the same. I went inside and tried to add some gyros and found out there isn't much room for that. I wanted to add some more forward thrusters, thinking maybe I could stick them sort of behind here where these little thrusters are, but it's actually already full of little thrusters behind each other, and not really any room inside the ship anywhere else to add more forward thrust, so it's gonna just have to be good as it is. And I figured the first thing we would do with this is crash this ship into some of my old cargo carriers there. And I thought this would be most interesting because those large cargo carriers there are actually made out of light armor, so they should crumple and be destroyed pretty easily. So really quickly, let's go ahead and fly inside. We'll just go through this door here. Nice and quick-like. We got gravity. Very, very nice. You might notice a few other little changes in here. I don't think they've changed much, but I tweaked a few gravity fields. That way they work reasonably well. And there we go, into the main hallway. We'll fly down here, hop onto the bridge. And actually, a lot of people pointed out that the bridge is indeed quite vulnerable. In a lot of sci-fi ships, the bridge is vulnerable and would be shielded. But since we don't have any shields in the game right now to prevent this from being instantly destroyed upon impact, I'm actually going to stick a control seat back here just for crashing purposes. That way we don't instantly find ourselves in first person floating around the interior of the ship. And I seem to have left the door open. How terrible of me. Anyway, here we go. Hop in here. Once again, nice ship. And actually, yeah, I'm going to fly it past them and line it up for a side hit on them from a pretty good distance. So I'll go ahead and do that. Alrighty, so here we go. Got ourselves up to a pretty decent speed, lined up for a nice side impact. And if I'm right, we should only take minor damage on this ship, while these cargo carriers, well, they should find themselves in a serious spot of bother here as this large, heavy metal ship tears through their light armor. And here we go. Impact in 3, 2, 1. And there we go. Pretty nice impact there. It's, yeah, I actually like that explosion quite a bit. This is, of course, audio put in after the fact, because this footage right here is playing at 2 times the speed. And here we go. We're about to have a nice little impact. Actually, it looks like we might be about to miss. Oh, no, we hit it. There we go. Pretty nice, and actually having collision on the corner. Looks like we... Nope, there's an impact. I thought we were going to have some clipping issues where we weren't actually going to have an explosion for a second, but yeah, that worked pretty well. Awesome. We're now getting flung about a bit. Hopefully, if we're lucky, it'll sort of stabilize. Oh, okay, we're spinning a bit. Just a tiny bit. Okay, we're about to impact the first ship again with the front of ours. You see some, yeah, look at that, at the very front, that smoke just went through the ship. Oh, it's lagging up a bit more. Maybe I needed to speed it up a bit more, but yeah, I think we lost some turrets there, for sure. So that was a pretty damn good impact. I think I've actually successfully managed to, yes I have indeed cut the front half of that one ship off of the back, and it'll start drifting away slowly. Let's see how much damage we actually took. We, unfortunately our bridge does appear to have been destroyed. Yeah, completely and utterly breached. We got some wreckage there. Overall, yeah, we actually lost an awful lot of stuff at the front. It's still functional. The overall shape of the ship is still there. Most of our weapons are right on the left. So it's perfectly fine, actually. And we've only really lost, it looks like, 3 turrets. Maybe, yeah, 4 turrets here. So overall, it wasn't too bad of an impact, and I think we maybe lost a turret or 2 at the very top front of the ship as well. Yes, we have. What about the bottom? We fared pretty well down there. Looks like 1 turret lost there too. Pretty good, I think, actually. Obviously, that footage was accelerated there, and yeah. I love the fact, if you look at the right side of the screen there, that little bit of the ship just floating away ever so gently. Pretty good. Let's fly back over there and do just another impact really nice and quick and see how that looks. This time without such speed. Again, I'll probably speed up the footage. That way you're not sitting through, well, 2 frames a second for a few minutes. And this looks about good right here. Let's throw ourselves a little spin in, disable our inertial dampeners. There we go. That looks good. Alrighty, so we're having some serious clipping there at the very front of the ship where you can see it's going through. There's an explosion, but not actually where it's impacting. You see it's just passing through it. The game is struggling to keep up with that a bit, and this is actually even slowing down, even though this is at 2 times speed. You can see a nice impact there at the front, though. We've pushed basically through both of these big cargo ships at the same time. Pretty cool. Slowing down a bit here. Let's see if I can fix that. Actually, hold on a second here. I think it's about to actually clear up. Yeah, there we go. The engine's firing. It's stabilizing a bit. There we go. Worried it was about to slow down a bit more. Still a bit slow, but getting better. Much better. Now, it looks like the ship has stabilized for the most part, so let's actually hop out here. Ooh, some gravity. A bit strange for our gravity to be twisted, but of course it makes sense. We're also moving a bit slower, so the game is actually still running at, no, not its proper speed. If we run up here, though, you can see the damage already. It's pretty damn noticeable that, front part of the ship, the bridge is, well, it's just not there anymore, is it? Yeah, we got some wreckage floating in here. Ooh, boy. Are my inertial dampers on? Yes, they are. The game is running so sluggishly right now that, well, yeah, we're having a wee bit of trouble just getting about in here. Damn. Damn. Come on, game. Catch up now. Don't make me spend 3 months floating around in slow-mo. Nobody wants to do that, even if it is pretty cool. It has deformed so interestingly. Can't seem to fit through this hole. A lot of weird collision stuff going on. What about this hole here? Wow. That looks like something maybe out of Aliens almost. If the walls were a bit smoother, you might see something crawling about and get a bit spooked. Very, very interesting. Looks like we're not actually going to be able to fit through here. I'm going to have to get in the ship's cockpit again and reverse this out. Alrighty, so back in the cockpit, let's stick her in reverse and try to get ourselves on launch here. Pretty interesting. It looks like we have pretty much pushed all the way through the living area of the one cargo carrier and pretty well, or largely, destroyed the other carriers. Come on, silly ship, let's reverse. Not get stuck here. Game must still be running at a slightly slower speed, even if my camera is responding. And actually, if we look closely, at the front right there, you can see where you have clipped through the larger other ship and not deformed it, which is actually a very, very bad sign that the game is, well, chugging pretty badly and trying to calculate everything and it can't actually keep up. Slight bit of trouble there, but, well, as much as I'd like to complain, the game is still in alpha and there are an awful lot of blocks colliding right here, so I think we can forgive it for now. So let me just cut ahead till I get this damn ship free. Alrighty, so I wasn't planning on showing this at first, but in watching it back while editing, I couldn't help but notice how interesting it looked as the ship floats backwards, seeing the nice little parts floating there, and the bits where the cockpit used to be, or bridge, pardon. It's just pretty cool. Anyway, now I'll actually cut ahead to when the ship's free. Alrighty, looks like we're mostly free. At the front here on the left, you can actually see a bit of the floor of the cargo ship. Looks like it went into where the bridge, of this large ship used to be and sort of smashed it. Pretty funny. It looks like a big whale almost with something in its mouth. Yeah, there we go. We're finally pretty much free. Do a little bit, turn to the left, I'll accelerate. Actually, it looks like we're not as free as I thought. Here we go. Let me cut ahead again. There we go. Now we're truly free. You see some shrapnel going on there, pushing a few pieces out of the way, and I can actually oh no, what have I done? I was going to try to accelerate to get out of here, but it looks like I've just pressed back into it. There we go. Now the ship is actually free. You can see now the game is speeding up a whole lot more to where we can actually see movement and not so much not so much to just moving in slow-mo. Let's actually get us to about here. This is a good distance away from where we just were. We'll stop. It should toss a bit of what's in the ship's mouth out of it. Nope, looks like it's still holding on. Anyway, this should be a good point to hop out and actually inspect the damage ourselves. So there we go. You can see the whole game is running a fair bit quicker now. I can actually run up this hallway without it seeming like it's about to chug to a halt. And here we go. Once again, the bridge is completely destroyed. You can see a whole lot of damage on the inside of the ship, actually. It's because on the inside of the ship, of course, a lot of stuff is built out of all these basic interior ship blocks, and they deform greatly. And an unfortunate thing right now in the game, I'm assuming this is what's caused a lot of this, is that when a interior ship block deforms and is destroyed, it often deforms even a heavy ship block, even though that doesn't make too much sense. It makes a bit of sense, but it's just a bit annoying when you blast out basically what is the equivalent of a light ship block, and suddenly it does this huge amount of damage to a heavy ship block, which you would expect to actually hold its form a bit better. But here we go. Got the bit of floor in there. The whole front of the ship, the overall shape is still there. Heavy armor is very, very sturdy right now, but it is, well, anything important that was inside this or near it has been destroyed. The rest of the ship's fine. As for these cargo carriers, well, yeah, not so much. They have taken a mountain of damage. You can see bits of, I think it was the medical area there is completely destroyed. Pretty much all the sleeping area is just missing and gone, which is unfortunate for anybody who would have been sleeping in those ships during a random collision, such as what was that. And, yeah, this is just a big hallway torn open. Not too much interesting to see there. Bit of damage over there. Overall, an interesting crash, even if I found it a bit slow. Hopefully I sped it up to get a decent speed for you guys. For me, that was like 10 minutes and a whole lot of trouble here. Yeah, so there we go. Big old crash. I probably should have started a bit earlier, and I think maybe I'll have one last crash really quick. Alrighty, so this should be a pretty good final crash. You can see what I've done. I've cleaned up most of the world. I've stuck in a bunch of small ships. I've actually mined the large cargo craft. Let's now post in our large ship here. I think we're far enough away from it. There we go. And because I don't want to spend an hour navigating the tunnels, I'm going to do a little cheaty here. We'll just cut our way into the ship right there. Awesome. Awesome. And because we don't want to instantly lose our cockpit either, we're going to stick it back here once more. And, well, then we're going to have a nice little crash. Alrighty, so we're not going to have the most speed in the world, but I think it should be enough to have a bit of an interesting impact, especially pushing through all those ships. And then, of course, we're going to have the nice big bada boom the second we hit that cargo carrier. So here we go, accelerating up to a good speed. This last crash I'll do without the UI getting in our way at all. And, yeah, I hope this should be pretty good. If it slows down for me, I will obviously stop talking. That way I can accelerate the footage. And here we go. Alrighty, so here we go, pushing through these nice little ships. Actually, like the way that looks a lot. I'd like to see a lot more of those ships being crashed someday. Anyway, as we get through them, in a second here, we should be impacting the large ship, which is, as I said, mined. And if you didn't understand that, well, you will in a second here. There we go. Nice good old explosion. You see how I've popped up at 4 times speed, and even then it still looks pretty laggy. There were like 10 to 20 seconds sometimes of just frozen times I've cut out in some of this. It's, yeah. Anyway, though, it looks pretty cool. I love the fact of seeing the inside of the ship there before it disappears. Alrighty, so there we go. That was a fair bit better than my original crashes. Whole lot more damage, and I actually like these little floating bits now being pulled away. Oh, we're losing frame rates again, unfortunately. Yeah, let's just make sure my inertial dampers are on, that way we stop and just fling these bits off of us. And actually, let's fly down. Should get them off. And you see we got another little ship at the front. Actually, it looks like 2 of them. We somehow managed to push, actually a fair few little tiny ships. We managed to somehow push through the larger ship as it blew up. And now they're, of course, being flung off into space at a pretty quick speed. Now the game is starting to speed back up to this main proper speed. Wow. Okay, well, here's a pretty good crash. Oh, there goes another broken ship. Oh, Jesus. That's gonna hit us. That's gonna hit us. That's, no, oh, bugger. Anyway, that's about that. Thanks so much for watching, guys, and I'll see you next time.